So fluid and great sound. You really make that guitar sing. You are absolutely amazing. Such a nice sound as well. What's up, Measles? Welcome to the Tone Secret series. Today we are going to talk about how I create my lead guitar tone. For those who are new here, my name is Ricky Lee and I'm a rock guitarist. I've performed alongside many artists including Priya Ragu, Masterpiece, and the Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Martin Smith. I was also featured on ITV's Saturday Night Show Game of Talents as a rock guitarist. Before I dive in, what I'm sharing here is based on my personal experience in playing the guitar, recording, and performing. So ultimately, take everything in with a grain of salt, learn from the things that works for you, and discard it if it doesn't. My solo guitar tone is an amalgamation of all the guitarists that I've been following for many years. Some of the prominent ones are Joe Satriani, John Petrucci, Steve Lukather, Pliny, and Steve Rothery. I remember seeing Joe Satriani live in a G3 concert. His tone reached the whole theater no matter where we were seated. Petrucci inspired me on how he layered his tone, especially in the speed side of playing. Pliny inspired me in terms of creating a clean and warm solo tone. And lastly, I just love how nice and easy listening Rothery's tone is. And here's how I built my solo guitar tone that all of you love. Firstly, this is an overview of one of my solo guitar tone that I usually have on. I've been using this to record all my cover videos and all the live performances from this year onwards. First, let's talk about the overdrive layers. I usually like to have two overdrives stacked together. Depending on the song that I'm playing, one drive would usually have more drive than the other. I usually just go by the sound really, so it's hard to give you the percentage or numbers that I have on. And I found that having two crappy overdrives worked better than one distortion and needing to crank it up. I remember my older pedal board, which I have one really crappy drive and the other was averagely priced, not too expensive, and I stacked it together. It sounded way better than my standalone distortion pedal, and since then I've been stacking two overdrives in everything that I use. Based on what you just heard, let me know in the comments what you think with two overdrives, or do you still want to stick with one distortion pedal? And the same as the overdrive, I usually like putting two delay pedals on my effects board chain. I usually put one delay in front of the amp and another one behind the amp. I put it on one day by accident and I noticed the difference in sound and how much more space it's created, so I decided to stick with it. And usually the delay in front is the actual delay that I want. Usually it's a dotted 8 note or a quaver, and the next delay behind the amp is usually a crotchet and much slower with much less feedback. I don't really have much theory of why it sounds the way it is, but I just go by the sound that I'm trying to achieve. So feel free to experiment and find out what works best for you. And you can learn all about the guitar and tone shaping from masters like Santana and Tom Morello from Masterclass. With just $180, you get full access to all the classes for a year, and not just music or guitar, other skills like writing and cooking and climbing too. For more information, check out the link in the description below. And Reverb. My approach to Reverb is to make myself sound like I'm playing in a 10,000 cap venue no matter what. And I usually alternate between two reverbs, and sometimes I just kick one off as well. One which has a prolonged pre-delay and it sounds like swoosh. And also sometimes I tend to overdo it, like this song Sylvia. I use this quite sparingly and only a tad bit when I do. And again, I can't really give you any numbers or percentage of it. I usually just go by sound and see what's comfortable without modifying too much of my tone. For example, I added a little bit of chorus effect to this cover, Anyone by Justin Bieber. And I added a little bit of phaser to this cover, Highway Star by Deep Purple. Especially the keyboard parts that I'm trying to mimic. And for the amplifier settings, it depends on the guitar that I'm using and what kind of sound that I'm trying to achieve. I usually try to get it as balanced as I can in the EQ and add a little bit of presence to get that twang that I need. And I would say I try to get the sound as clean as possible and as balanced as possible without all the effects added on. So this is generally the overview of what my patches are. I modify them from time to time, but generally it's just this. I don't really use compressor in my pedal board, but slightly in the post-production for just touch-up. On the next and final episode, I'm going to bring you down the memory lane on how I found my signature guitar tone or voice and how you can do the same too. If you want to hear more of my cover music, check out this playlist to binge watch all my cover videos, and probably now you can tell what kind of effects I have on. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you next week. Bye!